what I've encountered as an adult is much more what I would call, it's even more sinister in a way, the kind of structural inequalities. Especially in my profession, there's definitely a structural inequality, because this is a misnomer about being an East Asian actor. People take it, they think, oh, there's no jobs for East Asian actors. That's not actually true. There's actually probably quite a lot, especially if you looked very generically Chinese or Japanese. But you can't have the career like someone Benedict Cumberbatch, Felicity Jones. You can't have that kind of career path. Yeah, no, I grew up as Daniel York, and that is because my father, who's Singapore Chinese, is quite a complicated family saga. He was adopted by my grandmother's second husband. So they're in Singapore. Right? My grandmother is married to another man called Lo. She has my father. They get divorced. She marries an English serviceman called Frederick York. And because when Singapore got demilitarised, there was no permanent residence for husbands, so they moved here to the UK. So my father grew up with the name Patrick York. Then I discovered, when I was already an actor, that he'd never been legally adopted. So it's actually a lie. That surname's completely kind of spurious, really. So it's either Lo or Chu, depending on whether you take a divorced parent's name or not. But yeah. So when I'd already become an actor by that point, and also there's something about being an actor. It's tricky. I mean, people. I'm not famous, but people in the industry know who I am. So to change my name now would be strange. And also, I have to say, there's a whole deal with playing with going up for Chinese roles on TV and film, which for someone of mixed race is quite tricky. So I'm not keen to be boxed in like that. Whereas as a writer, I feel I'm kind of free to write what I want anyway, and I want to write Chinese East Asian stories anyway, so it's okay. And I mean, really, I would like to own my Asian side more, but as an actor, that's kind of awkward at the moment. So that's why there's this kind of strange thing with the name. Yeah. When anything's on camera, when it's on film, you're generally the parts you're auditioning for generally are what there's usually one of them. There's one guy or this one family, and they're very much what I call racial signifiers. Like if you look at, if you break it down, dramatic functions, like what's the jealous husband's dramatic function in the script? The jealous husband's dramatic function in the script is to be the jealous husband and oppress the wife. What's the scary stepmother's, to be the scary what's the Chinese guy's role, dramatic function, is to be as Chinese as possible. So they will generally, I have this conversation with younger mixed race actors now, and they go, "Oh God, man, I've been up for this part and that part, and they gave it to so and so, and he's never even been to drama school, and he can't act at all." And I can't, I said, look, you have to accept this, that when there's white people casting a Chinese person, they will cast someone that looks as Chinese as possible to their imaginings. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it becomes it's a deal. And I would say, maybe not 99 times out of 100, but I would say 49 times out of 50. If you want to work in the theatre like I did, you're going up and competing against people. And what casting directors do, and they say, well, we don't really go on that. We just go on, what kind of actor they are. So, we get actors who've been on lots of TV, like Downton Abbey, Call the Midwife, and Mr. Selfridge, and Forsyth's War, or whatever, and you look, that's a period drama, this is a period drama, I'm not likely to be in any of those things. And the most kind of nuanced, well-written roles are in those dramas. They put a lot, this country is rightly famous for that. They do it very well. and you can't. There's no way you can compete with that with Mr. Takeaway Man, you know, who was in one episode of Holby City. Because and people often mistake that. They'll say, "How dare you call me a racist?" Because they think racism is shoving dog poo through people's, you know, doors and shouting chinks and packies out and stuff like that. It's actually about kind of very subtle discrimination. I think subtle but very real discrimination that just reinforces fundamental inequalities in terms of opportunities.